Farm to Institution New England, or FINE, is a 6-state collaboration of partners from the public, nonprofit, funding, and private sectors that are working to strengthen our regional food system by increasing the amount of food grown in our region that's used by the colleges, hospitals, and schools here in New England.
It takes a region to think creatively about policy, and it's one of the things that I think that FINE is doing really well, is that we are looking around the region in terms of states and what they're doing on state procurement, and how can we learn both from inside the region and what we're doing and what we're learning from states outside of the region.
The other thing is that the distributors and the food service management companies and the businesses that work in the region don't stop at the state borders, but they're already functioning in a regional marketplace. So for us to be developing collaboration with partners around the whole region makes a lot of sense.
Key players and partners of Farm to Institution New England can be found working on supply and demand in both the public and private sectors. Some of these include farmers, fishermen, distributors, food service workers, dining staff, administrators, food service management companies, eaters, students, professors, healthcare workers, nonprofits, and advocates.
So the healthcare sector in New England is really starting to organize. They're coming together, we're convening work groups that bring together food service directors, other champions in those healthcare sectors, and other partners in the state and the region that are helping to support the changing purchasing within the healthcare sector.
The Farm to College project is regional in that we've worked with 10 schools to provide technical assistance across 4 states, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, and the Boston area in Massachusetts. And we'll be expanding into Connecticut and Rhode Island in the future. We've developed 10 case studies from different institutions and 18 Farm to College recipes, and we held 6 convenings that gathered over 200 people from across the region.
I think investing on the regional level really helps, just like the network does, to take what's going on that local level, lift it up, and amplify it so that the funders understand where their greatest points of leverage are and how the public funders and the private funders can work together.
What I think is exciting about FINE is that this is a group of people who like to roll up their sleeves and dig in and solve problems.
Connecticut, we're really excited because we're trying to build momentum around buying local, and we're doing that through a 10% campaign. Yukon, for example, took the pledge, and they reported almost $50,000 of local purchases just this year.
I probably get most excited by Farm to School projects. Just in our own town, we have an amazing school farm that has 5 50-foot high tunnels and 3 acres under production, and it's producing like 2 or 3 tons of food.
So one of our most exciting examples is working with a series of hospitals that were based in Boston, who really had an interest in sourcing seafood from the New England coast. And so what we did is worked directly with a seafood aggregator called Red's Best, who provided transparency along the supply chain. Then worked with Red's to get into the national supplier Cisco, became an approved product, who then worked with Sodexo, a large food service management company, so that all of their facilities that they served had access to this local seafood.
One is that New England, even though it's a small region, it's still 72,000 square miles, which means it's really hard to create the face-to-face time on a regular basis that really forges the trust and communication to make collaboration possible.
One of the great things about FINE is that by looking at the institutional market, we are creating demand for and new market opportunities for the region's farmers. I'd say that the flip side of that, the challenge, is that we're doing such a good job at growing demand that in many parts of the region there's not the amount of supply for the types of the demand that we're building in institutions.
Because truly, we are better together.
NESAWG friends, this is Nia Story with the Northwest Atlantic Marine Alliance. Bummed that I can't be there, but thank you for inviting us into the NESAWG family again. As many of you know, we work with small and medium-scale fishing communities facing similar challenges as family farmers: corporate takeover, consolidation, privatization, lack of access to resources. By working with all of you, we've been able to reverse some of those policies and create some new markets. We appreciate you paying attention to who catches our fish and including fisheries in your work, and we look forward to doing more together. Thank you.
Everybody, I'm Shannon Eldridge. I'm a commercial fisherman out in Chatham, Massachusetts, and I'm standing on my family's fishing dock right in front of our boats here in the harbor. I'm also the president of the Northwest Atlantic Marine Alliance, and we're really excited to share our work with NESAWG. You know, family fishermen have a lot in common with family farmers. We're trying to integrate the food system conversation into the policy arena, and at NAMA we've been doing that through seafood education events like seafood throwdowns, and also bringing students in universities and hospitals into the seafood purchasing conversation. And in doing that, they've been showing up at the policy table, at meetings, saying that they're being affected by the policies that are not only affecting fishing families and the fisheries industry in general, but it affects consumers. And we're really excited that this work is starting to benefit the local fishing families, the small and medium scale producers, and we hope that we can share our work and learn from each other at this NESAWG conference.
Small fishermen are going to tend to take care of things a lot better.
To me, it's part of my livelihood and my family.
We're conservationists.
It's been a tough grind for the last 5 years for everybody around here.
But being able to stay in the game and stay fishing, I can still, in my heart, where I believe, it's a fight for this fishery.
What I eat is important to know where it's coming from.
We want you to know that the healthcare sector is here behind you every step of the way and want to support all of the important work that you're doing.
Crashing headlong into the heartland like a cannon in the rain, with the beating of the sleepers and the burning
lifting up the next generation who hopefully will be even better stewards of this landscape.
Hi everyone at NESAWG. I'm Brett Tolley, community organizer with NAMA, and it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you, and thank you so much for giving NAMA the opportunity to share some of our work and help connect the struggle of family farmers with the struggle of family fishers. I'm from a 4-generation fishing family. Behind me you'll see Nantucket Sound off the coast of Massachusetts, which is where my family has made our living, fishing and feeding people in the region and ensuring the long-term health of our marine ecosystem. And other fishing communities around the country, we're seeing industrial policies begin to shift what is a public resource and transform it into private property. We're seeing of all the seafood consumed in the States, over 92% is coming from overseas, with an average distance traveled of 4,500 miles. At NAMA, we believe there is a new way to do it. There's got to be a better way to do it, but we need a revolution in our policies and a revolution in our seafood markets, or as we like to say, a revolution. We invite you to join us in this work, and you can start by joining our workshop, What's Sea Got to Do with It? Again, thank you so much.
Healthcare Without Harm is a global coalition of like-minded organizations that really understand the link between human health and environmental health. The Healthy Food and Healthcare program is a national initiative of healthcare without harm. So there's a lot of components that go into a healthy and sustainable food system. One of those is the development of a robust regional food system, and that really consists of bridging together and networking together small and mid-sized family farms, building their capacity, growing the infrastructure to be able to meet the demands of the healthcare sector. But in addition to that, we have to make sure that in growing that regional food system that we're not encouraging practices that are not going to allow our food system to be there in the future. So it's important to conserve the natural resources like water, land, soil, and also look at our practices and how they're impacting public health. Here in New England, one of our best strategies is bringing together hospitals for peer learning and networking, and we do that through forming work groups in each one of the New England states. Gives an opportunity for us to co-convene these groups not only just with Healthcare Without Harm, but with our partner organizations. Well, the one thing in our work in general that I'm most proud of is the weaving together of a strong network of allied organizations, all coming to the table with different priorities and different focuses, but together we can find a common thread in supporting the development of a sustainable food system. So New England is unique to our work because we are such a hub of food production by small and mid-sized family farms. We also have a strong coastal community where we can access varying species of seafood. We also have, our region is composed of 6 individual states with individual priorities and policy landscapes, which sometimes can be an opportunity and sometimes can be a barrier in what we do. New England can generate some best practices that can then be elevated at the national level. And with Healthcare Without Harm leading a national network of healthcare organizations, as well as communicating directly with some of the national partners that impact the supply chain of institutions, there's a real valuable opportunity to not only elevate what happens in New England, but also to bring lessons learned from a national scale to New England as a region. I think that food is personal, and so is health. And one thing that our president from Healthcare Without Harm, Gary Cohen, always says is that you can't have healthy people on a sick planet. So I think in order to impact change, we really need to make it personal.
Hi, NESAWG. Our statewide Farm to Plate initiative works to strengthen Vermont's food system in part by increasing local production and increasing local and regional sales. And I'm part of Food Solutions New England, which is a regional collaboration across the 6 New England states. Like all good networks, we give and we get things as a clear need emerges. One of my personal contributions to that network is to facilitate a monthly conference call with my food system planner counterparts in the other New England states, who are also developing statewide food system plans and networks. We share lessons learned and we problem solve together, and we're looking forward to the day when all 6 New England states have their own plans and statewide networks in place. It will make it a lot easier to see the regional gaps and opportunities for scaling up towards our shared regional vision of meeting 50% of our caloric needs from within the 6-state region by 2060. The other collaboration that is just emerging is to begin to show food system data for all 6 New England states comparatively. We see the need for a regional data repository like what's being considered by the Northeast Food Knowledge Ecosystem Project. We all need access to better data, and it makes sense to do this regionally. I think 2 of the biggest challenges we face to working more regionally are time and money. It takes time to build relationships. It takes time to really understand how best to change the food system. It takes time to implement our strategies and action plans. It takes time for farms and food businesses to become profitable. And it takes time, a lot of time, to maintain relationships. We have to stay in it for the long haul together. And it also takes money. While we're blessed to have so many funders in the region like the Kendall Foundation and the John Merck Fund who truly believe in regional approach to strengthening our food system, we also need to access bigger national foundations. We need to access federal agencies. We need to develop more fee-for-service models. We need businesses in the region to be more profitable. We need more of us to earn a livable wage. We need state economic development officials to start investing in food system businesses because it's where the job creation is happening in the region. We need all this so we can get to scale with some of our regional infrastructure projects faster. By working as a region, we might have a greater chance in succeeding with our efforts. Finally, because we've lost so much mid-sized infrastructure and there's so much consolidation within distribution, production, processing, and retailing all over the country, if we're going to rebuild ag in the middle, then it really seems to me that working together as a region is how we're going to make it happen. We can't go it alone, state by state. We are interdependent after all, and we need to build on each other's strengths and collaborate on all the regional opportunities which are emerging before us. Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Jim Hafner, Deputy Director of Land for Good. For the past decade, Land for Good has had the privilege of working with many partners to put more farmers more securely on more land in New England. Two projects that illustrate regional aspects of this land access work are the Land Access Project, coordinated by us, and American Farmland Trust's Farmland Advisors Project, on which we're a key partner.
The grant-funded Land Access Project, or LAP, engages stakeholders on a regional scale and in a sustained way. LAP's 60-plus partners include all state departments of agriculture, university extension, beginning farmer networks, major land trusts working on farmland, and others. Partners are organized into task forces to ensure regional sharing of information, expertise, and best practice. And their shared analysis and work has led to filling priority gaps in research, educational resources, and services.
AFT's Farmland Advisors Project also implemented related professional training and capacity building at a regional level. Targeting agricultural service providers and land conservation staff, Farmland Advisors trained 80 ag professionals from New England and New York on farm transfer and farmland access. It provided progressive learning and networking opportunities, including webinars, a regional conference, and peer-to-peer exchanges.
Two of the most notable LAP outputs were regional web-based services. The Farm Transfer Network of New England is a repository of professionals from the region who provide services relevant to farm transfer and succession planning.
NewEnglandFarmlandFinder.org is a regional farm property clearinghouse that coordinates with local and state farmland programs. Each website is a multi-state effort to fill a regional need with a service that is easy to administer and to use. A good example of how a regional scale tool enhances the ability of individual states to address a shared problem, in this case, helping farmers find land. The regional aspects of both LAP and the Farmland Advisors Project are particularly suited to New England. Like farming practices in their community settings, land access and transfer issues are similar across the states. Borders are soft in our relatively small region. Farmers participate in support programs in multiple states. They search for farmland across state lines, and landowners recruit farmers from across the region and beyond.
We think it's really important to work regionally across the landscape because many of our beginning farmers come to us looking for land who are not looking at geographic boundaries such as just in Massachusetts or just in New Hampshire. They're looking where the land meets their needs for their enterprises and production, where it's close to their markets, and where they can afford secure land tenure.
Both LAP and Farmland Advisors resulted in a shared understanding of land access issues and resources, and stronger service networks. The opportunity to identify and work on common priorities improved communication and trust, resulting in more informed services and more effective referrals. In our experience, getting people to think and act outside their state is one of the top challenges of regional land access work. This may be due to actual or perceived competition, or simply the inability to prioritize regional work. Expense and scheduling challenges often need to be overcome to get people together, virtually or in person. But everyone involved in these regional efforts should be proud of their commitments to a higher level of cooperation. Both projects show that collaborating regionally can succeed.
From my experience, I would say that the best opportunity to address this land access is on a regional level, based on, number one, the ability to work with a broader range of experts, and number two, to get a more comprehensive understanding of what are the most effective strategies to improve land access. This regional knowledge is then applied at the local level.
Some key lessons about regional work on farmland access are: first, New England's shared regional context increases the transferability of land access tools, strategies, and policies. Services and materials from elsewhere or developed for a regional context can work despite localized differences. Second, to support professionals' desire to work regionally demands dedicated resources, a coordinating organization, and a commitment to avoid duplicating efforts. Working regionally requires strong local ties, but also benefits from knowledge of national trends, resources, and expertise. We recognize the challenges of providing multi-state programs and services, but through efforts like these, we're making progress toward collective impact on farmland access in our region.
Today, it is my pleasure to give you an overview of the Harvest New England logo identification program, in which I am happy to say I am president of the Harvest New England Committee. To give you a background about how Harvest New England came about, back in about 1991, several of the state departments of agriculture in New England were discussing issues with farmers regarding them not getting a great price for their products on the retail level, working with the supermarkets. Also at the same time, we were learning from the retailers that it was difficult for them to get a supply of produce from one specific farm or even from one state. At that point, the Connecticut Department of Agriculture received a federal state market improvement grant, which stands for FSMIP, or the acronym is, and that is basically for market research and market development. And through that grant, we learned from retailers and farmers, having many discussions, that again, that consistent quality was a key, and also the source, not being able to source all from one farm or one state. So the Harvest New England logo identification program enabled retailers to use the Harvest New England logo and with one specific state or with several farmers working together. I'm happy to say after 22 years that this program is still in effect all throughout New England with retailers, but from that we're able to expand upon other opportunities in collaborating with our departments of agriculture.